Alcoholism is a full-time job. It was for me. Because in the end, everybody knew I was an alcoholic. But I still had to try and function and hide things and pretend. And my whole day was taken up with planning to drink, drinking, recovering from drink, being anxious, hiding drink, planning to buy more drink, disposing of bottles and cans as quick as I could. When I was married, I was drinking heavily. I was hiding bottles of beer all over the house and the garden shed. At one point I lived in Ebbing Forest. I used to have a secret stash. I'm so pleased to be sober. It's such hard work. I used to have this secret stash in the forest. I dug a hole and covered it over with soil again. Only me and the dog knew where it was. I used to top it up every now and again when she was out. There was beer hidden in the car. If you lift the in the boot, lift the carpeting up, and then obviously where the spare wheel is, there was cans in there, bottles in there, bottles of lager. I used to tape them down with black gaffer tape so it wouldn't clank around. I was speaking to a chap last night. He said he was so scared of being found out. He was on holiday somewhere and he took the bath paneling out to hide a stash in there. When I used to go to, when my daughter used to pick me up, because I couldn't get out very much in the end, I always had this rucksack, big rucksack. It's good make as well, just as well. Really heavy. She said, God, this is really heavy. What have you got in here? They got cans in this. No. What I used to do is I used to take bottles, but I had to put the bottles inside a sock so they didn't clank together. And it was so heavy, I actually got a really bad sore on my shoulder. When I used to go to the shop, I carried these bottles, huge bottles of lager and cans of beer and that, as well as getting them delivered, because you always had to have a stash. So everything becomes hard work. Going to the shops became impossible. I had to get things delivered. When you're an alcoholic, everything's expensive. You feel beholden to people. You pay more, you don't argue. You also have this thing called, well, I would call it a drinker's pocket, to be polite, where you've always got lots of change. Because when you've had a few and you're staggering about a little bit, you don't feel confident, you always hand a note over, and you got all this change, you got all that to sort out. The money is drained out your bank. You're wondering where the next money's coming from for bills. The bills pop up every now and again, you get a bit of a debt letter, and then they start ringing you. All of this is stress. Dealing with that is hard work, a full-time job. Then you start to get physical problems, start to feel ill. You don't know where you are really, mentally, you're confused, you're depressed, you're not sleeping properly, not eating properly, not speaking to people properly, you're unkempt, you don't wash properly. There's all these things come into it. That's what I mean by hard work, full-time job. And when you get to the level I did, I had to pre-book taxis, make sure I was in the right place. I had to organise my whole day, make sure I had plenty of drink in the house. In the end, like I mentioned in another video, I got 40 slabs of Stella. In the end, I was so anxious. The anxiety was nearly killer for me, to be honest. So when I used to go to Manchester where my daughter is, she used to pick me up, and I thought, well, I've got to have enough stash for 5 days. So I used to put all these bottles in a rucksack and then take a case. She knew what was going on, she must have done. In the end, I had to say to her, look, we need to go to the shops and get more, but what I'm going to do is taper off. I remember going down there for 6 weeks, and she lived in a flat down there. And I was so heartbroken that she had to see me go through all of this, you know. In the end, we used to go and get a case of Stella from the local supermarket, because she knew that if I just stopped, I'd have seizures again. You put your relatives through all of this, your children even, through all of this pain and distress, and it's on your mind all the time. It's an obsession with alcohol, and everything becomes secondary. everything, the money, the relationships, your health, your mental state. And you get to the point where you drink and you know you're killing yourself. That's how strong this addiction is. I know a few people in my local pub where I pop into now and again for a 0% beer. They've got all sorts of health issues, pancreatitis, some have had strokes, heart attacks, diabetes, all because of alcohol. And they know they're going to die from it early. And I called it slow suicide. But you do it because the addiction's so strong. And I keep going back to this thing. I don't think it's a habit that grows into an addiction through multiple drinking phases, and you get used to it. Your body gets used to it, and then you become physically and chemically dependent on it, and then you're caught, and that's when it's going to kill you. That's what takes everything from you. It takes your whole life away. But you'll end up telling lies as well. Where you've been. Have you been out? Because people used to ring me up who were concerned about me. Oh, you sound drunk, you're slurring your speech. Where have you been? Why didn't you answer the phone? All this sort of thing. The reason I never answered the phone was because I was probably in bed, comatose. I had so little sleep the night before, I was sleeping off during the day. And you're not aware of what's going on around you. You don't care. That's the problem, you don't care. From being a decent, caring, loving, compassionate human being, you become this monster, really, who's only ever interested in himself. And I was never like that. I'm not like that now, I'm sober. When I was drinking, I was like that. Nothing mattered to me other than getting a drink or going somewhere where I could get a drink. And I was never really drunk, I was doing it just to get me through the day, to function, I really cleaned my teeth. To be honest with you, I went to the dentist about 3 years ago. I mean, I go all the time now. And I hadn't been to the dentist for 10 years plus. I was going to be, I worked myself up to it. This is going to be a real shock. It cost me a fortune for a start. I'm going to have to have loads of teeth out. He said, your teeth are perfect. I don't know how I managed that. I only ever cleaned my teeth. Skin was horrendous. In the end, my hair started to fall out as well. I mean, I haven't got that much left, but I've got a fair bit. And your body hair falls out. There's all sorts of changes in your metabolism, Your whole world will fall apart. And that's why I make these videos a little bit, not harsh, but somebody said to me, you should smile more. I smile all the time. But I'm putting this out as a warning to people. It's meant to be a warning, because when I stopped 5 years ago, the main reason to stop was because of my daughter. But secondary to that, when I was admitted the first time, October 2019, after 2 weeks of being in this acute medical ward and having this ascites and spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, this doctor who was head of acute medicine, I'll never forget the day, he had a starch white shirt on, he looked like a film star to me because I was in such a bad state. He sat on the bed and he said to me, you'll never see me again, and I'll never see you again, because I'm only at this hospital for a couple of days. And he said, if you have one more drink, I guarantee you'll be dead in 6 months. So any thoughts of another drink are quickly dismissed by going back to that day. So I haven't relapsed in 5 years. And I hope I never will, because that will kill you. This alcohol will kill you. If you are getting anything from the channel, if you benefit, then please subscribe. If you know anybody who is struggling, I don't think there's many families who don't know somebody who's not struggling with alcohol. To be honest, there's so many people out there who are struggling with some aspect of it. Then please share the videos and get them involved, because we're building quite a big community here and we can all help each other. There's some very clever people on here comment, a lot cleverer than I am. And let's save a few lives, let's save a lot of lives. That's what the message is. Have a good evening and I'll speak soon.